is next to impossible, right? But there are still ways you can maximize your score even if you only have a day to study. The first approach is basically you want to see what's your strongest, what's your weakest at in the SAT, right? So by now, maybe you've done a couple of practice tests, maybe not. And if you haven't, just do one right now today and see what you're weak at. See what you're weakest at, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to get the top of your weakest at. Say it's linear equations, and I want you to study the hell out of that topic. So for example, if my weakest subject is linear equations, I will go on Khan Academy right now. I'm weak at linear equations, right? So I'm gonna go on Khan Academy and I'm gonna focus on those topics. So you see right here under Heart of Algebra, if you go on mission/SAT/practice/math, you have all the linear equation types of problems, right? You can see solving linear equation, linear inequalities. Here, let's see if on my practice test, let's say I get a lot of linear equation questions wrong. I can't add the equations together. I can't solve for x, solve for y. I don't know how inequalities work. Let me do the practice, right? You get to practice. You try one of the solutions. Let's see, check answer. And I actually got that right. But I recommend even getting some questions wrong on purpose because they tell you how to get the answer correctly, right? They tell you the general formula. You want to copy that down. You want to understand how they do the problem. If you're able to understand how they do the problem roughly, then you've already helped yourself, right? If you're middle to weak on a topic and you learn how to do a type of problem that's of that topic, you already helped yourself. So that's what you want to do. You want to go to the next question then, and you want to basically keep practicing these problems until you get maybe 3 out of 5 correct. So you have roughly a good or better idea of the topic. Then you want to move on to the next one, right? And like I said, if you're practicing in a day, you better be spending 7 to 8 hours practicing for the SAT, maybe even 12 hours if you're literally studying one day. And you want to retain just one topic, because if you try to study everything, right, that can hurt you. But that's also another approach. That's actually the third approach that I'm gonna talk about in this video. But yeah, and one thing I do want you guys to do is watch every single video, basic example, hard example for each linear equation topic, right? Because Sal Khan, the man himself, he basically goes over how you should approach these type of problems. And if you can understand that and apply some of his teaching to some of the practice problems on Khan Academy, you can really help your score, help improve yourself, help improve your SAT score within a day. And that's what you have to do. So, peace. So that's one way of helping yourself improve in the SAT within a day, right? You want your weakest subject to become middle strong or even strong. And if you can get that to happen within a day, then you'll be set in terms of your score will improve because your weakest subject, and hopefully your weakest subject is a topic that's really prevalent on the SAT. So this helps me get into my second approach. So if you notice, I said linear equations as my weakest subject, right? Now, if that is your weakest subject, that's actually a really good thing because one of the most heavily tested topics on the SAT is linear equations. So the second approach is basically, if you're strong at linear equations, then don't follow this approach. But if you're weak at it or even like a little iffy on it, I want you to study the mess out of linear equations, okay? By the end of today, I want you to get linear equations down packed in your brain because it is so heavily tested on the SAT in terms of non-calc and calc section. I think you can expect 4 to 5 questions on the non-calc section about linear equations, and you can expect at least maybe 8 to 10 questions on the calculator section for linear equations. So that right there is roughly, give or take maybe 12 to 18 questions on the SAT. And if you get a non-calc with a lot of linear equations, you can even sometimes get 7 questions that are related to linear equations. So imagine if you're iffy on linear equations and you get that down packed, that's 7 questions correct right there on the non-calc section, which is a difference of 60 to 80 points sometimes. And that's another 10 questions right on the calc section, which is equal to probably a 40 point move. So you really want to get linear equations down packed. And if you have a day to study for the SAT, I recommend studying that topic thoroughly. Yeah, so you're probably wondering why it got so dark. Well, I have to record this part, so here it is. So basically the third and final approach to getting a high score on the SAT, or at least studying as much as you can in one day, is to search up a website, right? You just go on Google, search up SAT tricks to know, or tricks to know for the SAT. Search that in Google, And I want you to pick up as many tricks as you possibly can today, okay? In one day, try to expose yourself to as many tricks as possible, because the thing is, even if you don't learn the trick fully, it goes in the back of your brain. And sometimes when it's in the back of your brain processes that information, right? And when you face a problem where that trick might apply, you might still be able to remember that trick even though you don't practice it a lot. The only thing is you have to expose yourself to those tricks. So what you want to do is you want to suck up as many SAT tricks as possible. And once you do that, that's one day of studying for SAT. You know, it's crunch time. So that's one way to do it. And those are the 3 approaches that I recommend. If you liked the video, please share, subscribe. Sorry for the change of background and how it got so dark. My video editor was dumb. But thank you guys for watching. Peace.